Welcome to Key Tech. Please describe this channel if you are interested in today's video. After the birth of 5G technology in 2018, Huawei completed its counterattack against European and American companies, and China also achieved a cornering overtaking in the field of communications. The United States continued to add fuel and vinegar, and constantly instigated the joint blockade of allied countries with unwarranted network security issues, let Huawei's globalization come to an impasse. Ren Zhengfei is still very shrewd. He has long expected that there will be a day when the core 5G technology comes from self-developed. 5G equipment has already been replaced by domestic production, and the proportion of American technology is less than 1%, which has also accelerated the failure of sanctions. Huawei has survived the cumulative 4 rounds of suppression very well. In the process of pressure from the United States, many European countries have become grass on the wall. Recently, Huawei is facing difficulties in the shipment of communication equipment. The EU announced, EU member states are prohibited from using Huawei equipment to deploy 5G networks. The European Union also emphasized, any core equipment related to Huawei's 5G should be included in the ranks of high-risk components. There have been no so-called safety accidents in the equipment market from the beginning to the end, which is simply a baseless smear. Of course, the credit of the Biden team is indispensable, but it is not a simple matter to completely ban Huawei in the European market, and Germany is one of the sober ones. The German telecom giant made it clear, we will do everything possible to legalize Huawei equipment. The European market cannot do without Huawei. When the United States framed the network security issue, a German professional organization conducted a comprehensive analysis of Huawei's 5G and finally concluded that there was no security problem, and then gave up the idea of banning Huawei equipment. During the process, the willpower was quite firm. Faced with the constant pressure from the United States, Deutsche Telekom chose to break up completely. According to the information provided by Light Reading, Deutsche Telekom, Germany's largest telecommunications company, publicly reprimanded the EU's scratch behavior, and publicly responded, I will not give up purchasing 5G equipment from Huawei, and will import more than 80,000 5G devices in the future. Antennas, 24,000 sites. Unless Germany puts pressure on it, we will continue to cooperate with Huawei. Deutsche Telekom's attitude is quite clear, choosing to directly challenge the EU's ban, making it clear that it will only obey Germany's instructions. But faced with all the pressure from the United States, it is still unknown whether Germany will compromise. But daring to stand up at this time has proved that this company is not easy. In order to continue to cooperate with Huawei, Deutsche Telekom can be said to have taken great pains. It publicly stated, Huawei's 5G antenna is not a key device. A mobile phone has an antenna. If the EU pressures Germany to ban the purchase of Chinese communication equipment, then it will be satisfied. On the condition of everyone becomes an antenna. A sentence that seems to be a mouthful is actually very concise and clear. It means that if Huawei's key equipment is forcibly disabled, Deutsche Telekom will directly bypass the restrictions and make everything legal. Warn the EU that it will not give up its purchase of Huawei equipment in any case. Under the escalating rules of the United States, Germany has never given an attitude of whether to abandon it, and only promised to abandon it if it proves that Huawei equipment is unsafe. Deutsche Telekom has already analyzed the balance of pros and cons. According to the data shown by the agency, most European countries rely on Huawei equipment for as much as 50%, and Germany is about to exceed 70%. It is impossible for the EU to know what it means to abandon the import of Huawei equipment, but if Chinese companies are allowed to rise rapidly, the status of European companies in the global market will plummet. Obviously, the EU is for the overall benefit, and Deutsche Telekom is naturally for oneself, but restricting and suppressing is not a matter after all. Only through win-win cooperation can the coexistence of interests be realized. According to statistics, as of 2021, the number of 5G key technology patents that Huawei has mastered has exceeded 15,000, accounting for more than 20% of the global total. About 30%. It has been confirmed that if you want to lay out a complete 5G network, you can't get around Huawei's 5G patents at all. For those unruly partners, Huawei has already started the collection of patent fees, and 23 items of core-making equipment have been banned in Japan. After the materials were shipped, Huawei soon officially announced that it would charge patent fees to 30 Japanese companies. Huawei has always adhered to a fair and open cooperation method, but it has been regarded as a weak behavior by many countries. No matter how good-tempered people are, there is a bottom line. Naturally, there is no need to be polite to those international companies that are unwilling to cooperate well. In the future, the scope of Huawei's collection of technology patents will continue to expand. While thinking about using Huawei equipment, while going to restrict, Huawei can only start charging patent fees, so that they can correct their attitude. This is also good news for Huawei. It can contribute to R&D funding. How do you deal with this? What do you see? Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe this channel if you are interested in today's video. Let us look forward to Huawei's wonderful performance.